may be watching our service online for the first time. We invite you to stay after the service for coffee and snacks. We are so grateful for the presence of children and young families in the church. And the fellowship hall is a space where kids can play and socialize in a less structured environment than their classrooms. And today is a whole church service, meaning that the children stay with us throughout. We think that it is important for us to all be together once a month and for the children to learn that church is a fun and meaningful space. We now invite everyone to greet each other in any way you possibly can. Elbows if you're here, and if you're joining us online, please say hi in the chat.
Thank you. It is good to be together. We have just a few announcements today. First of all, because today this is a whole church service, we have a few moments where the children are going to help us with elements. So first of all, the first thing that we're going to invite the kids forward to do is Joys and Sorrows in the middle of the service. This is where you can take a little stone and put it into the water and share something that is a joy that you're happy about or a sorrow, something sad that happened that you want to share with the congregation. And secondly, we're going to do a reverse offering during the offertory, and that is when the kids give something back to the congregation. And when a child gives you something, you can say thank you, and the child can say you're welcome. And then secondly, we have a special person here today. His name is Daniel Doss. Would you please rise? Daniel is our new music director. We're very happy to have him, and he's going to say just a few words about himself.
Good morning. It is so good to be with you here this morning. I have been greeted by such warm welcomes so far, and I extend that back to you. And I look forward to making music in our services and our special occasions. Music is a universal language, and I'm so happy to be here to share that with you all.
Thanks, Daniel. Okay, and now we have some brief announcements from Phil, Jim, and Jen. So everybody, come on up, and we'll get through them.
Good morning. Today we are announcing the Paving Our Way capital campaign, which will raise funds to repair our parking lots, among other things. There are brochures at the desk out in the foyer, and there is also more information on a page on our website. The campaign will run now through the end of November, and Adam Kaler and I will be available after service. Adam's in the back right now. And during the brunch that we're having following service today, and we will also schedule additional information sessions for anybody that has any questions about anything. So that's the kickoff.
Good morning. Technology, it's everywhere. It's everywhere in our lives, and we use it extensively here at SMUUCh. Many of our activities, events, and projects are organized, planned, and promoted online. We have online forms for submitting a news article to the all-church email, reserving a room here at the church, getting information about church groups and volunteer serving teams, sharing your personal celebrations for Celebration Sundays, honoring a loved one with an engraving on one of our memorial stones, and registering for upcoming classes, dinners, or events. We've got all these forms floating out in outer space, but how do you get to them? Well, they all have links in our weekly all-church email, and I know we all read our weekly all-church email, right? But what happens when you're not at your email? How do you get to these links? Well, visit the new QR Corner out in Fellowship Hall on the bulletin board. The QR Corner is a collection of QR codes, and QR stands for Quick Response. Might be on the trivia game next year. It stands for Quick Response, and a QR code looks like this. We've all seen these, right? A QR code takes a web address that's this long and squeezes it down to a tiny box of dots. And how you use it, you just take the QR code and your phone, you point your phone at the QR code and open your camera app, and then on your camera app, you'll see a link to that link. It's amazing, isn't it? So we've got a number of posters everywhere in the church with all the different QR codes that you might need to use. And we're going to update these as they change. The QR codes work with most newer phones, not the one I brought with me today. But if you have an older model, or if you have any problem with finding the link or getting to a form, contact me or Deacon or Haley, or come next week. It's the third Sunday, so on the third Sunday we have the tech table set up to help you. Thank you.
All right, and our last announcement is for parents and guardians of middle and high school youth interested in the Sunday World Religions course. Our youth leader, Kevin Roberts, is holding an orientation for you and your child during next week's Sunday service in the youth room. This is a great opportunity to learn more about the course and the field trips to local faith institutions. Thank you.
We gather together in community to make meaning from our lives, to appreciate the beauty and joy that we have, and to dream of wild things, of compassion, of justice and peace, of connection and sustainability and support. Come, let us worship.
At this time, I invite you to rise if you're able and join us in Song 361, Rejoice. Enter, rejoice, come in.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
As Lolly comes forward to light our chalice, we invite you to join us as we recite our covenant. Let us affirm that love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with one another. Each month, we as a community take time to reflect on a theme. The children do this in their classes, and we do it here in worship and in our small groups. This month, the theme is welcome. To me, feeling welcome is akin to feeling at home, both ideologically and physically. I remember as a child feeling like my church was home to me. I felt comfortable in every room, and I felt comfortable moving between the rooms independently. As an adult, when I started having doubts about my Christian faith, it was clouded by the grief of losing a home and a community. Ideologically, I didn't feel comfortable attending the Presbyterian service anymore, but spiritually, I longed for the welcoming community and spaces of a church, which, as I understand, is a common element leading many people to Unitarian Universalism. When I came here for the first time to sub for the former pianist, it felt like a homecoming. I grew up in a pretty loving and liberal Christian church, but as an adult, I couldn't reconcile the implied inherent guilt humans seem to need to feel with my craving for wholeness. And that's what I found here, celebration of my inherent worth and dignity, which was not a gift to me, but is part of who I am forever. Thank you all for creating that community and that space.
We come together in this space to see and be seen, to hear and be heard, to teach and to be taught. I invite you to reach over and nudge the person sitting next to you, reminding ourselves that we are here together, gathered in authenticity and intention. We also come together to share our joys and sorrows. So if you have a joy or a sorrow, I invite you to come forward and briefly share a rare joy or a profound sorrow and light a candle.
I'm Leslie Glenn. My husband Ted's brother, Will Glenn, has been fighting brain cancer for the last 3 years. And yesterday morning we got news that his latest MRI last week showed a new lesion in a different part of his brain. He doesn't know yet what this means. All the doctors, the radiologists, the oncologists, et cetera, have to meet and decide what exactly the next steps are. But he's scared and doesn't really know what will happen at this point. So we need he's a Methodist and very into prayer, and he needs all the UU prayers. I've lined up a bunch of Catholic prayers. So, whatever.
Hi, my name is Tony, and I'm celebrating a joy. Tomorrow, I am 10 years sober.
Wow! Good for you. That's so sweet.
Hi, I'm Shawnee Deck. 22 years ago, tomorrow, pretty much all of you remember what you were doing because it was the 9/11. I was in the delivery room having a daughter. Her name was Grace, and we all like to think about what she would be like now if she were still with us. And we think she would be wonderful. This candle's for her.
Hi, my name is Ashley, and I'm lighting a candle of sorrow and support for my friend Megan and her 2 children. She just lost her husband very suddenly a couple of weeks ago, and he was only 44. It was very unexpected, but also a candle of joy for doing the work to build communication. One of my teenagers has been very open with telling me about her mental health struggles, and that has been able to keep her safe, and I'm just really appreciative that she's able to be vulnerable and tell me about when she's struggling.
I light the remaining candles for all the joys and sorrows that remain unspoken in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. Please join with me in speaking these words of affirmation. We hear your words. We witness your life in all its heaviness and brilliance, and we carry your joys and sorrows in a shared heart. And now, I'd like all the kids who'd like to give us a joy or a sorrow to come forward. Here we have all these colorful little pebbles. Do you want to?
I have a joy, and my joy is that Halloween's in 50 days, so.
Countdown begins. Countdown begins.
Yesterday, our grandpa came over last night.
Great.
My joy is that, wait, I forget.
We celebrate all the joy, Andre. Thank you. Anybody else want to come up and tell us a joy or a sorrow? Do you want to say it in the microphone?
I love Halloween.
Yeah, amen. It is the best. Do you want to say it in the microphone?
I'm getting a procedure this coming Wednesday, and I have to get 6 teeth pulled out, and I'm really scared.
Well, I'll tell you, I went to the dentist this week, and I was scared. And look, here I am. Anybody else? Thank you so much for sharing all of that. We also, oh, come on. Okay, I'm going to put these rocks in for all the joys and sorrows that people and all the children hold in their hearts. I invite you now into a space of calm. So kiddos, I'm going to have you put your feet flat on the floor and one hand like this, one hand like this, and then you put it in your lap. Yep. And then you're going to shut your eyes, and we're going to do something to get our breathing wiggles out. So what we're going to do is we're all going to take a deep breath in, and then we're going to sigh it out together. Ready? One more time. As you sit quietly with your eyes closed, I bring you this poem. Don't say there is no water to solace the dryness at our hearts. I have seen the fountain springing out of the rock wall and you drinking there. And I too found footholds and climbed to drink the cool water. So don't say there is no water. That fountain is there among its scalloped green and gray stones. It is still there and always there with its quiet song and strange power to spring in us up and out through the rock. To prepare us for our meditation, I'll invite you to breathe in, and when you breathe in, say to yourself, when I breathe in peace, and when I breathe out love. We'll just do this for a couple seconds. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love.
Join with me in singing. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe
Once again, I will have all the children come forward, please. And you can just come and gather up here. Hi, everybody. How are you? It's nice to see you. Do you all know what we have set up here? This is called the water communion. Who here has done a water communion? A water communion is what we do at the beginning of the church year, and we bring water from home, or we each pour water in from this vessel to symbolize that each of us is coming back together from the summer. So, how's everybody doing? Can everyone tell me their name really quick, please? What's your name? Lolly, Quinn, Ellie, Aiden, Joel, Andre, Evan, Cordelia, Gwen. What are your guys' names? Wyatt and Roy and Robbie. And what about you three? What are your names? Eliza, Amelia, Joy. Hi, everybody. Okay, I want to tell you all a little bit about water. Who here drank water today? Yeah? Probably. I hope everybody did. Hi, Sam. Hi, Sam. Well, that water that you drank, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So it is essentially the same water as the rain. The rain, now it falls onto the surface of the earth. Can you all go like this? The rain falls onto the surface of the earth, and then it's pulled by gravity, each drop down, and then it begins to flow downhill. The drops merge with other drops flowing together into a trickle, a streamlet, a creek, or even a mighty river. And then where does that river go? Does anybody know? Where? Yes, right to, it gets to your home. Where does the river end up, do you think? The ocean. Yes, yes. Now, before it gets to the ocean, some of that water gets trapped and gets sucked deep down into the earth. So actually below us, where we are right now, there are huge caves that are just filled with water, and it's dark in there, there's no light, there's tons of animals that don't need light to live, and the water is trickling, the water is gushing, and it's a very, very interesting environment down there that I don't think many of us can really quite even fathom. Now that water, it gets pulled up again by the roots of the trees and comes out in springs, it comes out in geysers, and it just joins the rest of the dance of the water, just flowing, flowing, flowing. And then again, it flows until it collects in ponds and lakes. And then what happens? The sun's rays warm it and pulls it up into the sky so it can rise in vapor. Each molecule moving on its own, rising into the higher atmosphere, buoyant and swirling up where the air grows cool, and then the water vapor begins to come back down in droplets. And those droplets find other droplets, and again they form, again and again, growing heavier and lighter in this big cycle, falling, sinking, transforming, rising again and again. Does anyone know what that's called? Yeah? The water cycle. Yep, you got it. Okay, we're going to do something with our hands, and then we're going to show the grown-ups how to do it in a second. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to go like this. The rain is falling. The rivers are flowing. The water is sinking. The vapor is rising. Okay, let's do it again. The rain is falling, the rivers are flowing, the water is sinking, the vapor is rising. Okay, I'm going to invite you to go back and find your parents or grandparents and sit with them. And now, grown-ups, I'm going to have you support the kids and do those hand motions with us, okay? 2 more times. Just imagining the water going down into the ground. Our planet has all the water that it will have and that it has ever had. This water cycle has been spiraling around and around and around for more than 4.5 billion years. This means that the water that we gather at our annual ritual comes actually from all over the world and also from across all time. The water we gather today has traveled through the root systems of trees, long since turned to soil. It has burst forth from the geysers that ceased spraying millennia ago, and it has flowed down rivers that have changed course entirely over billions of years. And this morning we also remember that the water cycle doesn't only involve rivers and plants and clouds, but also creatures. The water cycle comes through us too, coming in and out of our bodies in many different ways. This means that the molecules in the water you gathered from Shawnee Mission Lake and brought here today could have been the tears of joy and sorrow cried by the first person who ever felt love. Or the water from our church sink, which you gathered when you got here to bring to the water communion, could have been the best chicken soup someone ever ate, or it could have been in the sweat of the people who built our church and our town, or in the blood of the mothers that birthed our grandparents, grandparents, grandparents. Or it could have even been dinosaur pee. As we gather the waters of community this morning, let us remember that they connect us to everything that has ever been and everything that will ever be. That is the power of the water that we share. So, I now invite you in a minute to come forward. Maybe you've brought your water from home, maybe you've brought water from travel, maybe you're here for the first time and you're confused. But no matter, we have this pitcher of water that you can pour into the larger bowl to symbolize your merging with our community, or you're welcome to come forward with the water that you brought from home. Please come forward. To complete the ritual, I will water my plant, and I will also water all the other plants in the church with this water. May our community be as joyful and varied as the water. Recently, one of our children told us that when she dreams of wild things, and so we named the service after this, and our reverse offering today is of little buttons that say that same thing for you. So I now invite the children to come forward and the ushers to come forward. The offering will be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared values.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry with us in our hearts until we are together again.
I now invite you to rise with our closing hymn. We'll be singing Blue Boat Home.
This week, I invite you to reflect upon the water and your communion with it. Go in peace.